All right, welcome to the Solo Marketing Podcast. My name is Shane, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how starting your new business venture, or frankly, starting a new podcast or YouTube channel, is very similar to having your own beehive. Very similar, and we're going to talk about this in this video. So if you like this kind of thing, if you're thinking about, I need to really start my own YouTube channel, I need to start my own podcast, but I don't know where to begin. I'm afraid of not getting views, I'm afraid of not getting subscribers, and I just don't know where to begin, because this is what stops a lot of people, honestly. Stops a lot of people from starting out, because they are trying to build a city in a day, and instead think of it as a beehive. Think of your new adventure, your new podcast, your new channel. This YouTube channel is a combination podcast / YouTube channel. I treat it like a podcast because people can actually watch these videos while they drive into work or whatever it is. And then they also have the option of watching the video as well, because some people like to just sit back, watch a video on YouTube, and then cook themselves food or breakfast, or whatever it is, whatever they do. That's my experience. I do the same thing. I'll watch Joe Rogan on his channel, on his YouTube channel. I don't go to Spotify to listen to it. I just watch on YouTube because I want to see him interact with his guests, like Dave Chappelle. Recently, who did he have just the other day? Who did he have on the channel? That was pretty good. Wow, I just drew a blank. It'll come to me. Why can't I just drew a blank? Joe Rogan. Adam Sandler. How can I forget? It's probably one of the best podcasts that I have watched. And then I started watching Dave Chappelle's podcast as well. His podcast that he did, or his Joe Rogan's podcast with Dave Chappelle. That one was actually quite interesting. And if you notice, a few hours. So that should be a lesson right there in itself. All right, so let's cut the music and let's just jump in here. All right, so if you know anything about Joe Rogan, he used to have a solo deal with Spotify that if you wanted to listen to his entire podcast, you had to do it exclusively on Spotify. But then a few months ago, he was finished his contract, and so he renegotiated another deal, and that's why in here I got this the concept of you never get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. I got that from Alan Dibb's book, The One-Page Marketing Plan, which I highly encourage you to read his book. He's going to be a guest on my channel next week. And then in a few weeks, I'm going to be having Dave Jennings from Systemology on my channel as a guest in the middle of September. So that's going to be pretty cool. That's going to be pretty fun. But Joe Rogan renegotiated a contract and said, I have to be on YouTube. You have to allow me to be on YouTube. And if you don't, basically, I don't know if the deal was if Spotify didn't agree to those terms, perhaps Joe wouldn't go back to Spotify. Don't know. So he's on both, but he's allowed to do his long format videos. And I think one of his first videos was like 3 or 4 hours long on YouTube. Again, this should be a lesson to you to start making your videos longer. Why? If you want to be a partner with YouTube, what they look for is live, and they look for videos that are uploaded consistently. That's what they look for first and foremost. Then they start diving into the content. Is it relevant for its audience? So, for example, this channel is catered to the solopreneur, people that are going it alone. And what is the definition of a solopreneur? It's basically if you take time off from your business, can your business still function? Let's just say 2 months, 6 months, whatever. Does your business grow while you left? Did it grow while you left? Or is it dependent on you? If it's dependent on you, it doesn't matter how many team players you have. If it's dependent on you to grow and you leave and you see a dip during the summer, that tells you you are actually still a solopreneur. You just have a team of solopreneurs and you're all working together on your own projects. Somebody's going in this direction, somebody's going in this direction, somebody's going in this direction, or someone can't be pulled along very fast. You're trying to pull them. You're trying to share your vision. You're saying, come on, let's go, let's go. And they're digging in their heels because they are employed by you. They are your employee and you've hit a ceiling. This is what solopreneurs go through every single day. It's usually under 10 people in your organization, and you make all the decisions top down. It's almost like you're a dictator. But if something were to happen to you, if you got hit by a bus, your business would fail because you don't have any systems in place. You don't have anybody that can replace you overnight while you're sick, while you're on holidays, while you're traveling the world. You have nothing. It all depends on you. So instead, you have corporate meetings every single day, asking people what they're doing and signing off on approvals every single day. This is why half the businesses, half the new businesses that are started by people like you and people like me fail within the first 5 years. And then the next 3 years, 80% of all businesses that are started are gone. They're gone. So this is what happens. So what we're trying to do here on this channel is to give you insights and give you tips, tricks, so that you can not only stay afloat, but you can actually start building a business that is around for a very, very long time until you're ready to exit the business. Then you could sell the business. That's the idea behind building a business, especially if you've read any of the E-Myth, Demystified books by Michael Gerber, which is also a good friend of David Jennings. All right. So why do I say your podcast is like a honeybee, like a beehive? Some insights as to how honeybees work, how honeybees operate. Because think about it, if you're starting a business, it's scary. It's scary because you're most likely in a business already, and you're like, I'm an expert now. I'm better than those people, so I'm going to start my own business. So what you do is you leave that business and you start out by yourself, whether it's lawn maintenance company. Maybe you're doing tree trimming, or maybe you're doing furniture repairs or moving or whatever it is. You're by yourself. You call your friends and you're like, hey, I quit my job. I'm into moving trucks now, or I'm into moving furniture now. I sell honey for a living. I don't know if you knew this, but I sell honey. No, I didn't. Oh, that's interesting. I'm allergic to honey. But thanks for letting me know that you're doing a new business. Click and whatever, all this kind of stuff, right? So you get kicked around for about 2 or 3 years when you're on your own. Other people won't quit cold turkey. Instead, what they'll do is they'll be in a business and they'll decide to do something part-time until it replaces their income. And usually there's a chance that that takes a longer period of time. 80 hours at this job, and you're trying to start a part-time gig in order to replace 88 hours. It's very difficult to do that. So here's what happens with honeybees. To a point, I'll just read this. This will be easier for you to understand where I'm going with this. So again, we're relating this to solo marketing on my channel. This is why I talk about marketing. Marketing has to be a part of your DNA. If you're a marketer, think of yourself as a honeybee. That's your DNA. You go out and you collect nectar, you collect honey, all this kind of stuff. That's you. You're basically a honeybee. If you're a marketer, you're a honeybee. You just need a hive. And a YouTube channel or a podcast is basically where you hang your hat. This is where you'll hang out the majority of your time. So when starting a new business, much like bees, building a preparation, resourcefulness, and teamwork. Even when you're on your own. Here's how the story of bees can parallel with my channel, the Solo Marketing Podcast, or for you, if you're thinking about starting your own podcast, consider it your own beehive. Before setting as much honey as oh, there we go. Okay. For some reason, my mic turned off. All right. Things you do that happen on a live podcast. So think of honey as reading marketing books. So in my case, that's the majority of my time spent is collecting honey knowledge for all these marketing books, The Purple Cow, Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Work Week, Alan Dibb's book, the one page marketing plan, David Jennings' book, Systemology, Michael Gerber. Who's the other guy? I'm just reading a new book now. It's called Traction by Gino Wickman. Great book. Awesome. So As a honeybee, as a business owner, you have to consume, especially if you want to go on your own. We're talking about, let's just say you're an employee before you have your business idea. You have to consume a ton of honey. What is honey? It's marketing books, it's sales books, all this kind of stuff. I would actually prefer that you read marketing books first. Anything on how to build a business as a solopreneur. So I can give you ideas, resources, all that stuff. But really, start off by reading the one-page marketing plan by Alan Dibb, then read Lean Marketing, then read Systemology, then read Traction. Those 4 books are a good place to start. Then read E-Myth Demystified. If you have those 5 books in your library, you are off to a fantastic start. That's your honey. What is nectar? Nectar is your experience. So right now, I have lots of honey building this channel. I am just full of honey. Why? Because I read a lot of books on marketing and all this kind of stuff. I read 3 books and I'm on my 4th book this week. So if you need to gorge on marketing before you jump out of your business, before you leave your current beehive, you need to gorge yourself on marketing books. If you can't read 3 or 4 books a week on marketing, then I would encourage you to at least read 1 book a month. That's reasonable. It only takes between 4 and 8 hours to read a book. So spend a Saturday like today and just read a book. That's your honey. Your nectar is your experience. I've built several YouTube channels. Some failed, some worked, some didn't. One of them I became a partner, a Google partner. And that's the one that I do a live stream almost every single day on that one. And I have over 600,000 views on that channel. And I have over 7,000 subscribers on that channel. And that's something that I do for fun, for a hobby, but I actually track the things that worked and the things that didn't work. And I've also built other channels. Again, some of them were like 100 subscribers, some were like 4,000 subscribers. Some accelerated, some I ended up with like 60,000 views in one video, some with 80,000 views, some with a couple of 100,000 views. So that's my nectar. And you need to have nectar in order to build a brand new beehive, and you need to have honey. Honey is the books that you read. Nectar is your experience, your life experience, your job experience. If you don't want to consume books, then think of it like courses, online courses, whatever it is, because not everybody reads, but for sure you could listen to audiobooks. Same thing. You could use audio podcasts as a resource as well. You listen to, let's just say, for example, you listen to Alan Dibb on his YouTube channel, and you just listen to him every day. That could be a source of honey as well. Same thing with System Hub or Systemology. Any of those books. If you follow the author and you read his articles, you read his books and all this stuff, this is honey for you. The experience, the nectar is actually the experience. That's what you actually do. That's your experience base that builds up. And once you're full from gorging on marketing books, in our example, and experience, once you're full, you're now ready to leave the beehive, and you can leave it cold turkey because you've gorged yourself. Some bees actually go back to the old beehive if they run out of honey and they're getting a little hungry. They will go back, but it's rare. Not all of them do this. Instead, they take a huge chunk of bees, and this is what you call a swarm, and they actually leave and then go find a decent tree somewhere, a branch, a barn, somewhere that they could start building a beehive. Sometimes it takes as little as a couple of days to build it, and then they start building storage facilities out of wax, and that's where they store the honey. and the nectar and all the stuff. So that's the priority, to do it as quick as possible. So if you are leaving your beehive a business and you have a ton of experience, rate yourself from 1 to 10 on experience. Just say, do I have enough experience that I can actually talk on a YouTube channel like this or a podcast? If it's yes, okay, now do I have enough marketing experience, or do I have enough honey? Have I read enough books on the industry that I'm trying to get into? Did I take a course on it? Did I take an online course, or did I go to university? Whatever it is, you need to gorge yourself. And this is what people in university do. If you want to be a doctor, you got to gorge yourself on knowledge, on all the medical books for like 4 or 5 years of reading. Can't imagine how many pages doctors read, but it's insane. That's gorging on the honey. Same thing with nectar. Now you get experience because you start doing little operations and all this little tiny stuff, usually on dead people. And then you get better, you perfect your craft, and then you do it in front of a whole bunch of witnesses or a whole bunch of peers that watch your procedures, and they probably film it and all kinds of stuff. That's your nectar. So once that gets up to a point where you're like, yeah, I got enough, I can go. Now you need to find other team leaders that are like you, that have gorged themselves on honey by reading marketing books that maybe you never read, but they're avid book readers. They read at least a book a month, and their knowledge is they're competent in their experience. Those are the people that you want on your team. And then you build a vision together. You say, this is where our beehive is going to be. And then you build it as quick as you can. It took me only a few hours to build this YouTube channel. And then you start bringing in the honey and the nectar. So that's what this YouTube this YouTube channel, this podcast is about. I bring in the honey. I bring in the nectar for you so that you can gorge yourself to a point where you're ready to either join my team on this channel, and we would help other businesses do the same thing, build their business through our knowledge and through our experience, and help them build a beehive, because that's really the business that we're in. We're helping business owners build beehives. That should be your goal. So what is the honey that I bring to the table here? Well, I bring authors that have written books on marketing. That's the honey I bring to you. And when you watch this channel, you can gorge yourself on all the techniques, strategies, all the stuff, and what it takes to actually build your own podcast, your own channel. And then the experiences, we're bringing authors that have actually done what they say. They don't just write or write books, but they actually build businesses and exit from businesses. That's the nectar. So when you come here, I'm providing you with honey and I'm providing you with nectar. And when you have those, you're ready to start your own podcast, your own YouTube channel. Otherwise, it's too difficult. It's too difficult. So you want to glean off of people that have done it before you. So if you don't know how to get a guest on your YouTube channel, watch this channel and I'll show you exactly how I do it and how I did it. If you don't know how to build a YouTube channel, I'll show you how to do that here on this channel. And it's going to take you time to gorge on nectar here. And really, you should probably gorge, I would say, 8 to 10 hours of my stuff on here before you reach out to me to help you out. Really. Because you're not ready then. If you're not reading books on marketing or how to build a business, and you don't have any experience, I don't want to do it all for you. That's not my goal, is to do everything for you. Build you a website, build you a podcast, all this kind of stuff. I want to work with you as more like a partner and help you out, help you grow. Maybe I could be on your podcast and help you get that started. Maybe you could be a guest on my podcast and help you grow your business that way. So that's the goal. So if you don't watch YouTube, you don't read marketing books, you don't have any sales or anything experience, then it doesn't make sense to reach out to me to help you, because you don't know anything about me. And I'll have to start from scratch and go, well, my name is Shane. I have a solo marketing podcast. I've built this channel. I've built this and did this, and I've had this guest and that guest and whatever. Like, I'm basically doing a job interview with you. I don't have time for that. And you probably don't either. So it's either you have basically two things for you. You either have money that you can hire somebody to help you, or you have time. So if you don't have any money, you should have time, meaning you need to gorge yourself on honey and nectar. You got to get that nectar built up so that you can build a beehive of your own. This is my beehive. This is where I hang out pretty much every single day. I hang out here. Why? Because I'm attracting other entrepreneurs that are by themselves. They're trying to go this alone. And think of this as honey dripping down, and then other bees come here. They grab some honey, they leave. They grab some nectar, they come, they leave. And imagine through a period of time, as my channel is growing, it's actually attracting more entrepreneurs, more solopreneurs, more authors, more guests, and you could actually be a part of my team, so that when we help others build their own beehive, you could actually make some honey as well for yourself. Liquid honey. So that's what I'm doing right now. So again, if you have a business and somebody gives you a call and they're like, yeah, I want to do business with you, and yet they have no resources for you to give them, as in, go check out, before we do any business, you need to spend at least a week watching my material first, because then you're going to know me. You're going to know how I work and all this kind of stuff. If you don't have time to do that homework that is free, why do you think you're going to do something when I charge you $5,000 or $10,000? What makes you think you're going to do it now? I'm testing you as my client, as my future client. I'm testing you out. I'm saying, here's your homework. Subscribe to my channel. Watch my videos. Comment on my videos. Why? Because if you want a podcast, this is what you want people to do on your channel. You want them to subscribe to your channel. You want them to engage with you and interact with you and email you and reach out and share all the stuff that you've helped them out with. That's what you want on your channel. So it starts off by doing that with me. Subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment, leave a thumbs up, watch all my videos. And then when you're ready, give me a call or reach out to me by email right here. The Solo Marketing Podcast at gmail.com. Again, if this is your first day and you never heard about me, watch my videos first. Honestly, it'll save us both a lot of time, because I don't want to reintroduce myself to you on a cold call. I'm not cold calling you and, hey, I want you to know about me first before we get on a Zoom call, before we do business together, before you exchange your hard-earned money with me, before you give it to me. I need you to know who I am. So this is the easiest way, is to watch my channel, subscribe to my channel, comment, leave a thumbs up, and then start building up this nectar for just before you're ready to make the leap from your beehive to start your own podcast. Get on other people's shows. That's how you build your nectar. That's how you get comfortable talking with other people, and you're going to start building your authority by being on other people's channels. Because maybe you're a person that's like, I want to write a book. I want to write a book. Well, the easiest way is to start writing right now today. And maybe you're like, well, I don't have any knowledge yet. Well, don't write your book just yet, because you have to have knowledge first about what you're writing about. And that's common sense. But a lot of people write books and then they get stuck after 5 or 10 pages and then they're done. I would suggest to you that if you want to start a podcast or YouTube channel, is network with people, get them on your channel, get your friends, get colleagues, get authors, get podcasters themselves on your channel. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm reaching out. And you have to systematize it so that you're not always having to figure it out yourself. So, for example, I use Calendly as my booking link. So basically, if, let's just say I did email someone and said, I'm reading their book and I would like to have them as a guest on my channel and talk about their book, then they would ask me for a marketing or for a calendar link. So then I send it through Calendly, and then they could book it 60 days out. They could check my calendar and go, okay, when is Shane available between now and the end of September? So they look it up and they pick a time between Monday and Friday and they book it. And then I get the notes because I've already set up some questions to ask them, and they answer the question just so I can get to know them a little bit better. And then they book a time for 1 hour with me and we record it. And then later I post it at another time. That's how you do it. That's how I do it. This is why you need to subscribe to your channel, because it doesn't matter how many views you get. It doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. What matters is that you're actually building your beehive. That's the first step. You got to build it. And you have to have a place where people can show up and they can stick around for a bit and then they leave and come back and leave. And then because they see you consistent, they see you on every week, eventually it'll get to a point where they're going to reach out to you to do business with them or to coach them, to mentor them, whatever it is. But now you're not selling. You're not selling anymore because you have your own channel and they know you. They trust you. They believe you know what you're doing. They believe you know what you're talking about. So again, the first place that I would start if you're trying to build your own beehive would be, I would suggest you go to leadmarketing.com, and I would suggest that you buy these 2 books, whether on Amazon or on his website, and then also buy the Audible version as well and read along, because I have Lead Marketing, the physical book. I have the Audible book. I also have it on Kindle as well. It's just, that's way easier to consume someone's information, is by either listening to it, reading it, or actually physically having a book, and then you can highlight it as well, which is what I do. And then after you're done buying that book, then go visit Dave Jennings, author of Systemology. Go to his channel or go to his website, which is Systemology, and then buy his book. That's a good place to start. So basically, those are the 3 books that I would start off with. And then the 4th book would be Traction. Go Get Traction by Gino Wickman. If you have those 4 books in place, you're off to a great start, I'm telling you. And then, of course, if you subscribe to this channel, like, you're way ahead of the game. You're way ahead of the game. Again, it's not about the subscribers. It's about your system. What do you have in place? What's your vision? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? All this kind of stuff. And the quicker people can understand that about you, what you're up to, what your business is up to, the quicker they'll want to do business with you. So again, if you need my help on anything, just email me at the solomarketingpodcast@gmail.com. I will send you a booking link It's a free 1 hour consult. Basically, we jump on Zoom. I think it's actually about 40 minutes on Zoom. And we just have a chat to see, maybe I can't even help you out. Maybe you're not quite there yet where I can actually help you. Or we can see if I can point you in the right direction with other resources, whatever it is. Because maybe you're just not a good fit right now. And I don't mind saying that to you, that you're not a good fit. It's just you're not ready right now. So if you don't have your finances in order and all this kind of stuff, and you don't read marketing books, you don't watch podcasts, you don't have any experience in developing your own YouTube channel, whatever it is, you may not be ready just yet to jump off of the current beehive that you're in to dive and create another beehive. But that's what we'll talk about in the Zoom call. And again, it's free, it's complimentary, it doesn't cost you a nickel. I'm not asking for your money or anything like that. If you wanted to give me, hey. But the idea is I want to find out how much knowledge you have when it comes to marketing, and how much honey and how much nectar do you have? Because then I can help you. If you're full of knowledge and you're full of nectar, I can help you. But if you don't take care of yourself, you're not reading books, at least one business book every single month. If you're not doing that, I may not be your guy. I might not be the guy that can help you out, because I can't teach you to read and all that stuff. If you don't want to do this on your own, I'm probably not your guy, because I don't want to hold your hand and say, you need to read once a month. You need to read a book, because I'm way ahead of you on that. I read at least a couple of books every week on marketing, on business. So if I introduce a concept to you from the one-page marketing plan and you've never read his book, you've never heard of Alan Dibb, I got to get you up to speed on that in a 40-minute Zoom call. And it's almost impossible to do that. So instead, watch the interview on here, or go watch Alan Dibb's interviews throughout YouTube. Go watch David Jennings. Go watch Michael Gerber. Watch how these guys work. Watch Joe Rogan podcasts. You can learn something all the time. This is what you need to do for yourself. But if you're thinking of reaching out to me and you want to start a YouTube channel or podcast, and you're like, and I ask you a question like, do you read? And you say no. I'm like, do you have a favorite podcast? And you say no. Do you have somebody that you look up to? And you say no. I'm probably not working with you. It's too hard. It's too difficult. You're not ready. You're not ready. Now, if you say, oh, I read at least a marketing book every single month, and I've built some YouTube channels once in a while that worked, some didn't. I listen to podcasts. Joe Rogan's one of my favorite podcasters. I listen to Valuetainment, whatever. Jeremy Miner, Sales Sniper, whoever. That tells me that you're at least interested in this realm. But if you don't read, you don't consume knowledge, you don't listen to audiobooks, you never tried and failed to build your own YouTube channel, and you don't have to build it yourself. I'm saying, like, if you ask someone to build it for you and it didn't go over so well, those are the people that I'm looking for to work with. But if you hate YouTube, if you're like, I don't watch YouTube, Shane, well, I don't want to do business with you. If you have an interest in YouTube, that's different. But if you're like, I can't be bothered watching anything on YouTube, I can't be bothered with reading books or listening to audiobooks, you're probably not my client. You're probably not my client, because we need some kind of a rapport. Books that we can talk about, authors that we can talk about, funny stories about some of these people that have done marketing that worked, didn't work, all this kind of stuff. But if you're not interested in any of that stuff, then you're probably not my client. This is why you need your own podcast, because you're actually building the criteria for what type of client you're looking for. And they can watch your channel and go, oh, I think what is being said on this podcast is this person doesn't want to waste my time, and they don't want me to waste their time by reaching out to them if they don't know me. And that's true. They have to spend at least 8 hours watching my video stuff before we do business together. So I don't want any surprises. I don't want them to go, oh, you're really into YouTube. Oh, you're really into live stream. Oh, you're really into reading books. I don't want that to be a surprise. I want them to be excited and be like, I do too. Because that's how you build partnerships, relationships, friendships, and you actually can make money together. You help each other. So hopefully that makes sense. So anyways, that's it for today's video. If you got something out of this, again, feel free to subscribe to this channel. Feel free to leave a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Let me know you've watched this. And I'll check out your YouTube channel as well. Thanks again. See you later. Bye for now.